Eagles. Eagles.
Questions asked, questions answered. The Eagles get their 10th straight win today, 27-13 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. A great game from Jalen Hurts, a great game from A.J. Brown. Not a great day for Dan Sileo, who did not quite predict this. Big Sills, what's that?
Great day. I mean, they won the ball game, and again, finally after fucking 6 months, they showed up in the passing game. Way to go. I mean, it's his best game in 3 months. No doubt about it. The story of the game was Hurts and the defense. They completely shut down Barkley. They banged him up. It came down to Jalen and that great. I'll tell you this. The defense was 10 times more impressive in what they did. Look at the numbers in this ball game on what they did to that Pittsburgh team that had done some pretty good things this year. By the way, not dismissing anything that Jalen did, but look at this. They held the Steelers to 10 first downs and 163 total yards, and they held the rushing attack to 56. I mean, they completely annihilated. This was by far their best performance against a 10-win football team. There is no doubt that is the best I've seen them play, and they are the best defense in pro football. Hurts played his best ball game in 4 months. He had more passing yards today than he did in the previous 3 games combined. And guess what? They needed it because they completely shut down Barkley. Did I think that Jalen Hurts would have a game like this? Why would I? He hadn't all year. Now he did. Now, again, you said this, Zander, on Friday about him. Maybe they have a couple weeks here to put it together where they start getting the passing game. Hey, there's no question. I'll say it to you, man. He was absolutely great in this ball game. There's no getting around it, man. He really was when they needed him because they shut down the run game. And by the way, one more time, hey, is this something he can do again? I'm a believer in this. Nothing was answered today. When he showed up had a great game. Answers are you're doing it on a consistent basis over a period of time like you have been with running the ball. Let's see again. It's a great place to be right now for the Eagles. The passing game, is it back? We'll see over the next couple of weeks.
So you're telling me all the questions of this week, this isn't a response. You go up against a Mike Tomlin coach team, a Mike Tomlin coach defense. You go 25-32 for 290, 2 touchdowns, and a 125 rating.
I just said it. I just said that's a great game by Jalen Hurts. Will that be the storyline for the passing game? It's the best passing performance of the year. You're telling me in week 15 that's going to be a trend when it hasn't been all year? We'll see what happens.
But you're moving the goalposts.
That's 60 minutes of football versus 4 months of football, and you're telling me it's been answered. Okay.
No.
Well, I'll tell you what, you and me, I'm not going to debate it. You and me have a completely different view of what consistency is and a one-game performance. I want to see it over a period of time.
Well, we're getting a whole show to do, so we're going to get into it whether you want to get into it or not.
Whether you want to hear what I have to say, I don't give a shit either.
I just gave you the platform for the first
time. Sure, absolutely.
Thank you for giving the game.
Thank you for giving it to me.
We got to talk about the game, Big Sil.
I know we are.
I'm telling you.
I'm not talking about me. Correct.
My concern with the 9-win streak was that you were one-dimensional. Today showed that when you need to be, you're not entirely one-dimensional football team. Obviously, the defense.
No, that doesn't show that. You had one game where you weren't all year. That doesn't show that. That is not factual.
They were 25.
How is that factual when you're the 31st ranked passing offense and you're trying to tell me that now you're showing me that this is going to be consistency? We'll see, Zander, like I said.
That's not what I said. I said that they responded to what the questions were this week with the passing.
Excellent game that they
Everybody said you're one-dimensional with Saquon Barkley.
They have been all year. You're telling me you think one game erases the entire 4 months. Really?
So you're so mad and I'm not even getting a word. That's how I know you know you're wrong. Because you're so angry. I haven't even spoken on the show yet, and you're so angry.
Absolutely ridiculous and absolutely untrue.
That was
Absolutely
a response to the
untrue.
narrative this week.
Mad.
Whether you like it or not. That was a
I
response
don't
to the
care.
narrative.
Okay.
25 and 32, Jalen Hurts today, 290 and 2 touchdowns. Took 3 sacks for 20 yards. Man, TJ Watt, what a player he is. We'll see what happened with him and the injury there. But Jalen Hurts, the best game I've seen from him in a long time. And I thought he answered the question in a big way this week versus a really tough opponent in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Sills, A.J. Brown had 11 targets, 8 catches for 110. Devontae Smith had 12 targets for 11 catches and 109. You're getting 219 yards out of your top 2 targets today. What do you make of that and what they were able to do?
Phenomenal. I mean, like you said, 19 targets out of both of them there's no question that this was the best I've seen Jalen Hurts play in 2 years when it came to the passing game and how effective he was in the run game. I mean, 15 carries for 45 yards, 290 yards passing, 2 TDs, a rushing touchdown. He completely was needed because they completely shut down Saquon Barkley. I mean, and they still had 131 yards. And what I said also on the pregame show was this has to be a Hurts game because they're going to shut down Barkley. I mean, and they did shut down Barkley. Jalen was absolutely at his best. It's the best game of the year. It's actually maybe the best game since last year's Buffalo game. And right now, again, with the Lions getting killed by the Bills today, you're talking about a football team now in a position where it's a race for the home field position. Jalen Hurts, like Tom Brady. And by the way, to go along with what the GOAT said, the one thing that you still have to be concerned about is how much that there were still a little open guys and holding on to the football. And he would like to see a little bit more consistency over the next couple weeks with this offense, especially in the passing game. I echoed the GOAT. That's all I did too. I just echoed what Brady said. And again, it was a great game. He answered the bell, like you said, Zander, about all the BS that went on. And so did AJ to some extent. No question. By the way, the sideline fiasco with Clint Hurt, I'll find out a little bit more. I think personally, that's just competitive bullshit that goes on the sideline.
It looked to me like Nick Sirianni was pissed at Jalen Carter. And by the way, it should have been. That was a stupid penalty. And they're lucky it was enforced after the kick. I thought you had a chance to keep Pittsburgh on the field there. And I think Clint maybe got in the way of him. I couldn't really tell what happened.
Yeah, no. I think he stepped over the line maybe a little bit because you got to remember something. Sirianni's the head football coach. And if he wants to address a football player and get on the sidelines and get in his ass, I don't think that's a problem. I think, again, that's just competitive stuff, Zander, in my opinion. So, again, to me, of all the things that happened this week, I think that's a complete nothing burger.
Yeah, I want to stay on this offense for a little bit, and then we'll get into the defense because, man, they have just been they made Russell Wilson look like a shell of himself.
Absolutely.
Today. They are a good defense. Talk about consistency, talking about showing you week after week. That defense has earned the benefit of the doubt at this point. I do want to stay on the offense, Sills, and
how about this?
I don't want to say this to debate. I want to actually get my point out and hear what you have to say. My concern as a fan of the Eagles was you're destroying teams with Saquon Barkley. It was great, right? 9 straight wins. I was ecstatic about it. I thought it was great. I was concerned if you're one-dimensional, you could get into a playoff game where that's going to come back and bite you. You can't move the ball through the air. And I think in that first half, really mainly the first half, obviously a good second half too for Hurts, but the first half, it really showed you how dynamic this team can be. When your defense, think about it, Sills, they had 17 points with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, and they turned the ball over twice. They were moving the ball so efficiently and quickly in the passing game, and you can see why people like you, people like John McMullen say, the running game is great. You need to be able to pass. And I thought what they showed today, despite them not doing it in recent weeks, today they needed to, today they wanted to, and they did it. It showed me when they need to be, they can be a more versatile football team and answer the bell.
So Kellen Moore had a great game too then, right?
Well, yeah, and I think that maybe proves me wrong on Friday. If Jalen Hurts plays well like he did, you saw the stats. Brady put them on the screen when you brought up the point. It was a good point by Brady. First 4 drives, Jalen was throwing the ball in 2.7 seconds. Look how good he looked. He reverted back to that 4 seconds a little bit later in the game, and you started to see some worse plays. But, yeah, I mean, Kellen Moore had a great game today, and maybe that's just because Jalen Hurts was letting that thing fly, man.
Well, because somebody's calling the plays for him too, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
and look, he looked good, man. The plays were there, and the receivers were open.
Maybe what it comes down to is this was a game that they needed because they knew that Barkley was going to be held down. And all the things that we debated about with Kellen Moore last week, Kellen Moore said, let's rip it and throw it. And they ripped it and threw it. Yeah. And guess what? This goes back to the one thing that you said and why we started the show. Maybe again, Zander, getting away from it. And all year long, they've been running the football. And then what they did in this game was they had to pass the football. Well, both guys looked like they were on the same page with me, no?
Yeah, no, they absolutely did today, and they really connected. I mean, think about it. Those targets were pretty impressive. 12 targets for Devontae, 11 for A.J. Brown. If you're going to pass the ball, that's what I want to see. Get those guys in. They're too good, Sills. They're too good to not be – like, I love Saquon Barkley. I love that he was on pace for Eric Dickerson. I don't give a shit if he gets it or not. I'm sorry. I don't anymore because I think those two players are too good to let them collect dust on the sidelines. You got to get them involved like you did this week. And I think your offense just becomes that much more of a juggernaut, that much more to handle for opposing teams, especially so as you add in this defense, like you pointed out. I mean, I'm not taking away any credit from them. When you add this defense with an offense that can now move the ball in the air and on the ground, I think you're in territory. That's a legit Super Bowl contender. That's a team that can hang with the best teams in the NFL. You're right. They got to keep doing it. But that type of play makes me much more optimistic for a playoff game, wherever it is, in Philly or Detroit. And by the way, Detroit's losing right now by 2 touchdowns to Buffalo. So looks like that first seed could be very much in play for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Would you not agree now? And I got to tell you, and I'm going to 1,000% say this, Eagles have the best defense in pro football. There's no getting away from it. They're the best defense. Zander, I never thought on December 15th, 2024, I'd say this. The Philadelphia Eagles have the best defensive football team in the league. And get this, I'm not sure it's close with anybody. Okay? I mean, they like you said, Pittsburgh's a good ball team, man. They move the ball on just about anybody. And I thought it was great respect at the end of the ball game by Sirianni being down there in the red zone taking a knee when he could have jammed another one in on you. I mean, actually, that just shows you how out of hand that game got at the end. Can you imagine this? Mike, he makes a decision not to go for a field goal or go for it on fourth down. And he never gets the ball back.
Yeah, I didn't understand that decision. See, that's where I think.
Yeah, but I didn't understand the Sirianni decision also to stop the clock and give the Steelers the opportunity at that field goal. They stopped the clock and they made it 17-13 at the half. And I go, that was a little something there that I may have wanted the clock, force them to go out there, make them kick that,
right? Whether
or not, because I mean, I get. I mean, what
you're talking about when the Steelers had no timeouts left at the end of the half. You wanted them to have to rush the kick
and rush the kick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a less consequential pick compared to what Tomlin. I didn't understand that decision there, where 8 minutes left and you want to punt the ball away. I don't know why
he was going to get a stop.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I just think the Eagles' offense was moving too good at that point to give the ball back there. That's where I think the modern. See, I think there's a fine line here because on the same breath that I'm going to say this next comment, you got to factor in what Dan Campbell did today, which was just a stupid decision. But that's where I think the aggressive nature of coaches can give you a competitive advantage, where Mike Tomlin's an old school guy, and I love it. It works for him, and he's obviously a great coach. But I think going for it there makes the most amount of sense. Now, on the flip side, did you see what Dan Campbell did in that game?
No, I didn't.
Dan Campbell and the Lions came back. For anybody that missed it, I was watching. I had both. I had the Lions game on my iPad, so I was watching them both. But the Lions come within 10, right? There's 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. They come within 10. They get a touchdown. 2 straight drives of touchdowns. He onside kicks it with 12 minutes on the clock. The Bills recover the onside kick and take it back to the 3-yard line. 4 seconds later, another Bills touchdown made it a 17-point game. And I'm like,
cow.
Dude, kick it deep and get it.
Kind of stuff that you go back to the NFC title game and you're like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That'll cost you games. Those type of decisions.
Knee-jerk stuff, man. You know what? I tell everyone the brass slipper is right in front of you and the brass ring's right in front of you. You come out of your school and you start doing shit that doesn't really make sense on some of the things that you do all year, especially against a Bills team. Man, That is not good coaching. Zander, I want to go back to one thing, how we started the program out. I'm not suggesting in any way that Jalen didn't have a phenomenal game. The storyline is two things here, Jalen and the defense. It wasn't the run game. The run game the run game with him in the passing game was all him today. This was the first game where I went to come away going like this. And I don't know how you feel about this, but for me, this is the first game I come away this year going like this. They won that game because of Hurts.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, the rest of them have come either at the hands of AJ or Barkley. So again, what I want to see is this. Is this now going to become something where we see Barkley banged up, right? A little bit nicked up. I saw him grabbing his groin. He had a knee. Is this now where he picks it up and runs into the season with being able to carry the team? So again, look, by the way, that's the best win of the year, even better, in my opinion, in Baltimore. Remember who beat Baltimore? Pittsburgh beat Baltimore.
Right.
Okay, so this is a 10-3 team that was in charge of the AFC North, which many people consider one of the better divisions in pro football. You beat them. By the way, you beat them to a point where, get this, it wasn't really a debate who the better team was.
I agree. And by the way, I agree with your assessment that you have to keep doing it. Would you say this too? The offense today is a better offense than what it was the previous 9 wins where you're running the ball.
Yes. Now
it is, right? It's a more playoff ready offense that can deal with more things that come their way, any adversity, stuff like that.
Okay. Now, to me, it comes back down to this. Brady in the broadcast said this. There were guys crossing and that were wide open. It just seemed that Jalen Hurts didn't want to let the ball go. And to me, I'd like to see a little bit more progression in that. Now, does Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts have the confidence coming out of this Pittsburgh game to do this? Hey, let's do this against the Commanders. Let's do this against Dallas. Let's do this as we get into the playoffs. Do they have the confidence to be able to do that? Zander, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm a prisoner of the now. I'm not a prisoner of tomorrow.
Well, I hear that.
And I'm a prisoner of what you've done.
Well, so you know what else we both
I'm not
are?
a fortune teller.
We both like to put our foot in the sand, stake it there, and say, fuck you if you don't like it. Well, that's a rebound from Jalen Hurts, baby. Let's go, Jalen.
Oh no! Oh wait. So now you're back on the Jalen. Okay. All right. You're back on the Jalen wagon.
290. Are you kidding me, Sills?
Okay. Hey, Pumper, he's back on the Jalen wagon when he throws 3 picks. When he throws 3 picks next week. By the way, 40 sacks on the year so far for the kid.
Yeah, and by the way, I do want to ask you about 2 other guys too. Saquon Barkley, he didn't look the same to me today. I know they kind of slowed down the passing game or the running game, which I think is fair to say.
Pittsburgh's run defense is legit, dude. They're not
like
I know they are. They're legit. Okay, that's
but remember when you said to me, the same?
Remember when you said to me, you go like this, do you really believe that the Ravens are the 4th best rush defense? And I said, I don't know. We're going to find out. Do I believe that the Steelers are one of the top 3 rush defenses? I surely do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I thought they beat Barkley up in that game. Barkley came out of that game more banged up than ever before. I mean, let's just say this.
He missed the whole second quarter.
Missed the whole entire second quarter, man. So, yeah, no, I mean, hey, let's see how that goes forward. And I'm going to be – well, the Eagles won't tell you anything today, and they'll never tell you anything about his injuries. But make no mistake about it. I mean, hey, by the way, your boy finally, after like 4 months of football, showed up. Way to go, man. I mean, he actually put a cape on today. It only took him 4.5 months. I've been waiting since September. Here we are.
Oh, listen, big game today for Jalen Hurts. You know who else deserves a little credit today? Kenny Gainwell. I thought he ran the ball. He didn't run the ball super effective, but the couple of receptions he had where he fought for first downs on 3rd down, I thought that was stone cold impressive from Kenny Gainwell, who's quietly having a decent season as a running back too, behind a guy that's on pace for Eric Dickerson. Not easy to get yards and touches, when you're behind that type of player. I thought Kenny Gainwell was solid today. He's been a good outlet. And he was a good change of pace back.
Hey, how about this? When I look at the numbers, I'm going like, 7 carries for 20 yards. How come they seem like they were 220 yards?
Well, he did the main yards he had were receptions.
40.
He had 3 catches for 40.
Yeah. No. But what I'm saying is, how come those 20 yards seemed like they were 200 yards rushing?
I know.
Because every time they needed something on third down, he got it. Then also, too, hey, how about the elusiveness he showed, too, on breaking tackles, too? Steelers are traditionally one of the very best tackling teams in the league, and there's no question, man. I mean, he had a really good game. I mean, what did they end up rushing the football for as the unit? 131 against the Steelers? That's exceptional. Look at these numbers over here, though. Pittsburgh ran the ball for 56 yards and had 107 passing. Holy cow, bro. That's how you beat a team up, man. That defense, next. I can't believe the job that Vic Fangio's done.
Yeah, we're going next to that, right to that defense, and you just said it, man. Who stood out to you most on the defense there? I got one player in mind that I want to give you, all right? Nolan Smith. Now, he's not a game wrecker yet, but this is a second-year player who was taken in the first round last year. He didn't do a whole lot of anything in year one. He has really come on. You lost Bryce Huff. You lost Brandon Graham. He had 2 tackles for loss today, a sack, and 4 total tackles, 3 solos. I thought he had a really good game, and he does not look like a liability to me in any area of the game, and I think that's a big win for this team.
I'm going to – wait, I got to clean my glasses off with the guy I'm going to say. I hate what I'm going to say. Well, maybe I don't hate. I thought Nakobe Dean had the best game of the year for him.
Yeah, dude, he's playing really, really good.
I mean, I thought he stuffed Najee Smith the entire game. I thought it was him, not – but let me tell you, Zach Bond has amazing closing speed. I mean, dude, he makes tackles in open space as good as any linebacker in today's NFL.
Dude, he runs with receivers. I know that flea flicker. You know that flea flicker play? I know they completed it, but Zach Bond was right there with Tavon Austin, who's a really speedy little receiver.
His closing speed was essential in keeping Pittsburgh at bay. And by the way, dare I do this? Holy shit. Was there a Jake Elliott sighting today? Was there, man? I mean,
he got back on track a little bit.
Well, he made a couple 50s, didn't he, today? I mean, I was like this. Holy shit. There was a Jake Elliott sighting. The defense was insane. And Jalen Hurts played his best ball game of the year, without a doubt, dude.
He didn't have a 50 today, Sills. He had a 34-yarder.
And they took that off the board, remember? They took that
48-yarder. They took off the board with the penalty. Yeah, so ultimately. But, hey, listen, it's good to see him getting a couple plays there, getting a couple hits because you needed that from him. And, you know, look around the league. There was a couple other big kickers today who had misses, especially in Detroit. I think Bates had a missed kick today. So kicker problems seem to be happening everywhere, Big Sills. I'm happy you brought up Nakobe Dean, though. He really looks like a great player. And Jalen Carter keeps dominating. What'd you see from that sideline stuff? I know you said you're going to try and reach out to Clint, but
I'm going to reach out to
Clint. Something like that.
Yeah, well, again, you know, I posted a video of it, too. It looked to me like Nick wanted to get in the face of Jalen Carter for that stupid penalty that he had. And I think Clint got in the way of it all and basically stopped it. Nick started screaming at him. And he said, no need for it. I got it under control. He's my guy. That's how I'm reading that.
Right.
Because I know Clint and how that goes on. And to me, I think Clint stepped over his bounds because let me tell you this, dude. If a head football coach wants to make a comment about his player, he should have that ability to go over there. So to me, I think that's more on Clint and getting into – I mean, listen, it's all competitive juices, man, especially when you're in that moment like that. You know what's crazy about that moment? Both those coaches didn't give a shit about being in the lead or behind or what have you. It was the competitive spirit of that football game. I don't have a problem with it.
No, I have no problem.
Like usually me, I make molehills into fucking Mount Vesuvius. Okay, to me that's a nothing burger.
That's an understatement by Big Sills. But no, I love it, man. Listen, I went to Alabama. I watched Nick Saban. He remember the famous play from Nick Saban where there's 3 seconds on the clock and the Alabama team jumped off and he's chucking heads. We're up 62-3.
Let me give you the greatest moment. Zander, did we have a sideline moment at the start of the game? Okay, well, you and me, man. Guess what? It's talking about being competitive, dog.
Dude, you're a cisspot. When this team performs,
Cisspot.
you put on a stink face. Everybody
that's what I've been called.
Your stink face oozes through the
There's
show.
no-
You were so. I didn't even get my open out. My open was 22 seconds. I didn't even get.
I
it out.
have no freaking stink face. What are you
My
talking about?
open was
here?
22 seconds.
The only
everybody.
face I ever have is a Corona face.
22-second open. I couldn't even get it out before Big Stills had to jump in.
No, because
God,
before this guy
Jalen did answer the
going, Bossy game is back.
I got news for you, Big Sills. Jalen Hurts answered the bell today.
Oh,
he answered the call.
He answered the bell. Will he answer the bell the rest of the year?
I think so. We got a couple good matches.
Oh, I think so. See, again, reality is he hasn't done it but one game this year. I know and I believe, when Santa puts my sleigh underneath my Christmas tree and my new Schwinn bike, all that, you believe. You should believe.
Yeah, I'm in the Christmas spirit. What's it hurt to believe, Big Sills? I've seen him do it in the past, and I will watch him do it again. Look at this big super chat from 18. Appreciate it.
Stink face.
You did. Listen.
There's no such thing with me.
I'm cool and level-headed. You rewatch the start of our post-game show today, and you tell me about the Sileo stink face. Okay. I bet your Aunt Betty will tell you it was there. Shout out to Aunt Betty on the post-game show. Jason 18 says,
such thing as a Sileo.
This is a Super Bowl team. What a way to respond. Love this team. Tyler Steen is a baller. Well, he got beat up a little bit today when he was in there, but he did do good overall. Hurts best game of the year. The fight in this team is night and day from last year. Just stay healthy, and we got this. How you doing? You're going to be getting a lot of them this week, Big Sills.
Well, I would. No, don't worry. I'm very well planned out for this because I know that everyone thinks that one game makes a season. But I will say this to you: they did show one thing today. You know what that was? Resilience. They did. They were resilient after this week, and I'll tell you what. I thought they beat the Steelers up.
They did.
Okay? I didn't think they could. I did not think they could beat the Steelers up, but they did.
Yeah, that was one of those physical games, Sills. That was. Oh, yeah. I mean, that was an old school football game that was fun to watch. But
yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, listen, there were some injuries that you take there. Saquon Barkley was a little bit banged up. A lot of guys on the offensive line. Lane Johnson got a little bit banged up. Becton was in and out. Landon Dickerson was in and out. I mean, I don't know what to make. I don't know if any of those are going to be serious. It seems like the Eagles keep getting these injuries, but none of them are season enders or anything like that. So I think they're going to be all good, but that was one of those physical games where the war of attrition comes into play for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I totally believe we shall see the next couple weeks here how this roster looks. Hey, you know what? Again, too, man, people say Steen stepped in. I didn't think he played poorly. I thought he played okay at the spur of the moment. Even when Lane went out, too, I thought Fred played well. Fred Johnson played well. Look, man, it was a great football game that's the best game that they've played all year, 4 quarters. Would you not agree?
Oh, I agree for sure. And that Detroit game is in the books, by the way. 48-42 was the final. So Detroit makes it look like it was a little closer than it was. But you know what that tells me, Sills? Buffalo gets the win in Detroit. Well, Detroit can be beaten, but they did put up 42 points. So if you're going to go into Detroit and beat that football team, you're going to need to put a lot of points on the board. And credit to Josh Allen, who had another MVP level performance.
362 yards passing, 23 of 34, 2 TDs, and he ran for almost 70 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he's had 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's playing unbelievable right now.
And they're 11-3 right now. And to me, the championship in the AFC is going to go through Kansas City. And right now, to me, it's trending because if you look at Detroit's schedule and Minnesota's schedule, Zander, and then you look at the Eagles' schedule as you finish out, to me, I think it favors Philadelphia on hosting home field advantage. And for one factor that we'll always say to you guys, you have never gone to a Super Bowl without hosting home field advantage. And right now, I think you're the favorites to handle home field advantage in the NFC.
Well, if you look at it, so right now, but where we are right now with the Detroit loss and with the Eagles win, if we win out and you need the Vikings and the Lions to each lose one of their last 3 games. So it's very realistic. And if you look at it here, the Lions, this is who the Lions have coming up. They have the Bears, the Niners, and then the Vikings. So one of them is going to take a loss, right? Lions are playing the Vikings. So, and then the Vikings have the Bears tomorrow night, and then they have they're on Monday Night Football tomorrow. Then they have the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Lions. So I think you're good for at least one loss from the Vikings. It looks like the Birds could fall into the number 1 seed here, which would be huge for this team to go through Philly. Dude, if you get Jared Goff, if you pull Jared Goff out of that dome and make him come to Philly, I don't think that Lions team has a chance in beating us. I really.
By the way, just for the record on Jared Goff, he threw for 494 yards and 5 touchdowns, 38 of 59 in that ball game. So,
that's because they were behind.
I get it, but he still threw for, again, here's another guy who last week threw for 4 touchdowns. He has almost 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks thrown for the football. I mean, like you said, that's a ton of points, though, to give up to one really dimensional football team in Buffalo. I mean, look, I know that what's-his-name had a decent game, Cook. He went for 105 in that ball game. But Jesus criminy, man. I mean, you have all that talent on that side of the ball, and especially on the defensive side. I could promise you this. The Eagles are not going to give up 42 points or 48 points in a ball game to anybody this year. There is no way they're giving up 48 points. There's not a chance.
So here's the craziest stat of today's game. You ready for this, Big Sills?
Hit me.
The Pittsburgh Steelers got 2 second-half possessions in the entire second half. That's how good both units were today. The offense, credit to their field, credit to them. They stayed on the field, kept moving the sticks, long, drawn-out drives to end the game, and then the defense doing what they did, obviously holding that thing. But 2 second-half possessions for the Steelers, I mean, that's unbelievable, and it shows you why they couldn't come back in that game. And by the way, what a game break that was, that Najee Harris fumble.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
they were going in the sport.
They were driving at that point. They could have tied the game at 20, and then Najee fumbles that ball, and the Eagles went away with it at that point. And, credit to them. They took advantage of it, but that was a major shift in the game.
That was the only time in the game that I felt where Pittsburgh was going to crawl back into it. But here, look at these numbers here defensively. 10 first downs, 3 for 10 on third down, 41 total plays. I've never heard of that. They only had 40 fucking plays.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that is insane that you held the team to 41 plays. There were 9 drives in that. The Eagles had 77 plays, and the last 4 were kneel downs. I mean.
And coming into this game, Sills, the Steelers were number 1 in the NFL in time of possession.
Yep.
So you bullied the bully today, and you did what they did. You took what they do best, and you made it their kryptonite. I mean, that's impressive.
Get this. The Eagles almost had double the plays in this ball game to what the Steelers did. That's how dominant the defense was in this ball game. You're scoring, and how many 3-and-outs were in that ball game too, by the way? I mean, they did it. You know what? I'm going to say this to you too. I thought Jordan Davis played well. I mean, that was like the first game where I saw him in there, and they were clogging that middle up, and they were doing a really good job inside that middle there. Hey, you know what? You know who's having a really sneaky season? Is Josh Sweat. I mean, Josh Sweat.
Yeah, he had a big third down sack today. Yep.
He is having one of those sneaky years where he's going to get 10 sacks on the season. And I got to tell you, man, I mean, he really played well today. That whole front played well. Nolan Smith, as you mentioned, I really thought Russell Wilson did a poor job on the snap count by not at least throwing him off a little bit. Became a little predictable. But still, I mean, they stifled them, man. That was the best performance against a really good football team and a well-coached team. They did a great job. Look, I think Baltimore is good, but I think Pittsburgh might be more balanced and all around because of their defense and the ability to run the ball. But the Eagles stuffed it, man. They did, and Jalen was really great today. He really was.
Yeah, good point there by Prince, who puts up a super chat. That's now a sweep, everybody, of the AFC North.
That's unreal.
Yeah.
Way to go, Prince, because look at the quarterbacks. Burrow, Lamar, Russell. Again, Cleveland, again, you can give whatever you want there, but, they said that was the division of the quarterbacks, and they swept that North. Many people think the North is the best division in football, Zander. When you got Pittsburgh and, you got Baltimore in that division there. I mean, there's some great teams in that division, and to sweep that division is absolutely – how about this? They have an opportunity to sweep the NFC East and the AFC North. I mean, that's really unbelievable. And the only division they had a tough time was, believe it or not, the NFC South, where once again the Buccaneers have showed up again, and here they are because Mike Evans and everybody's running the ball again, and you're starting to see the Bucs again. The Buccaneers are going to make the playoffs, by the way.
They're quietly having a nice end of the year. By the way, did you realize they have 2 rushers right now? That Bucky Irving.
Yeah.
And I'm forget blanking on the other guy's name, but they're up to 1,700 or 1,800 combined yards together. I mean, they have a good running attack there in Tampa too. So that's a good game, a good team down there in Tampa. Let's get to a couple super chats here, Big Sills. You'll like this one. Josh Herman says, let's not overreact. Jalen had a great game. Continue to build on it. I like it, Josh.
No, and again, look, if there's 2 conversations here, you're either talking about what he did today, or you're talking about what he's going to do tomorrow, which no one knows. But one thing he hasn't done prior all year is had games like this. He's not been consistent. But to your point, again, do you want to talk about today's game? Okay. Do you want to talk about this being a trend, which it's not? We shall see over the next couple weeks.
Good stuff there, Josh. Appreciate you checking in, brother. Christopher says, Sills, eat your crow. I love it.
No crow on December 15th. I don't have any crow. You've won dick now. You haven't done anything yet.
You made a tough last-second decision to switch.
No, and I stand by
hate to see it, Big Sills.
I stand by every single thing I've ever said on the air, always. And on December 15th, you know what you've won? Admiration.
Lord Lubu says, Zander, keeping it real. Hurts responded, where are all the Hurts haters and Detroit meat riders now?
We're all the Hurts haters
Detroit today, man.
Still a long season to go, my friend. Hey, Lord, hang in there. Man, it's yet to come.
We're getting close to the end here. Appreciate that, Lord Lubu.
Wait a minute. No, we're not getting close to the end. The end's in February, my friend, not in December and January.
Jay Shaw says, Sills just pissed off that his takes are full of shit. It's not about if they can do it consistently. It shows they can do either run or pass when they want to. They've been choosing to run. Let's go, Jay Shaw.
Choosing to run. Okay, that's what they've done.
That's
why AJ bitched all week. You're right, because they were choosing to run.
I made a tweet out today.
Hey, by the way, either people hate Kellen Moore or they like him. Which is it? I'm lost. Which is it? Do you like him now, Zander, or do you hate him today?
Who?
Kellen Moore.
Well, he did better today, but I think so
did Hurts do better. So they both get the same.
Well, like I said, I think I'm proven wrong because Hurts looked better today, and that the passing offense started clicking. So my assumption that I thought Kellen Moore could have been holding the passing offense back at this point, it looks like it was debunked because once Hurts starts making those throws, it starts clicking.
I don't know that yet. If he's not the problem, let's see how.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think both of them deserve some of the blame or whatever you want to call it for the passing offense, but
they get credit for the bounce back. Absolutely,
yeah, right. I'm trying to be real. I mean, like I thought it was Kellen because I was looking at some of the numbers that I thought were alarming. Today was a big bounce back, and Jalen was letting that thing fly. So I think that makes you look a lot better. Here, Anton checks in, who's now on the Zander shit list. Anton, I said it last week. This guy loves tooting his own horn. If a team managed to take away Barkley, Hurts would deliver. Franchise record 10 straight wins. We still have a problem. See you on the post. Anton, you are off the post for a week. You're getting a week timeout for that stupid ass tweet you sent me earlier, brother. But I appreciate the super chat there. Clary Voy says, not on the Hurts train. Good game called to his strengths. Confident game for a confidence-driven player. Watch the quotes come back.
Clairvoy, I think you're downplaying his game.
I do too. I think he had a really good day.
I think it was more than just a good game. I mean, that was his best game of the year, and he looked excellent in the ball game. I mean, listen, doing it again and being consistent with it is something that I want to see. I see where you are, but I mean, I think you're downplaying his game today because Barkley was nowhere.
Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody for all the super chats today, man. We hit that like button, everybody. We got a lot of people in here right now. Sills, 10 straight. Jalen Hurts, 290. 2 tutties, another touchdown on the ground. I'm not, Sills, it's Christmas. I'm not going to let the Grinch Sileo take away how I'm feeling about my football team. All right? So fuck you, Big Sills. In the nicest way possible. In the way of I love you, Big Sills. But fuck you, Big Sills. The Grinch. Fuck you, Sills.
Hey, you see, one of the great things that I've built up here with my friends at JAKIB and with Zander, he's probably the only human being that I would ever have that happen with me just now. And you know what I feel? It's a merit badge, and I love it. And I'm going to tell you flat out this. Okay, let's continue to build on it. He had 60 minutes, first 60 minutes all season long where he was excellent. The rest of the season has been garbage.
Don't let the Grinch
garbage. Garbage. Great game, Zan. Great game, Jalen. Great game. What's this? Has it been a great season? No. Has it been a great game? Yes.
Let's go through a couple more super chats. Then we'll get to our first break. We're going to talk to John McMullen soon from Lincoln Financial Field. Looking forward to talking to John and seeing what his takeaways are. So John typically falls like between Sills and I, where Sills wants to be this way. I'm going to go this way. John seems to be the guy in the middle. So we'll see what he has to say about this one today. Marcus Williams says, Hurts beat the 8th-ranked defense with his arm. Eat crow, Sills.
He did beat the 8th-ranked defense and a very good defensive football team.
In all seriousness, Sills, I'm giving Jalen more credit because that was Mike Tomlin today.
Yes.
Like I thought Mike Tomlin, that's the one coach I was like, he's going to put Jalen or force him to make a bad decision today. And I thought it would bite him potentially with the drama this week. And Jalen really had a good game versus a tough defense.
A Spike struggling with wins this year. Let's see if the mighty and all-time win happens. You know what that is? The game in New Orleans. Because all these games will mean dicky. Okay? All this will mean nothing. There's only one game that matters.
Brian Pump checks in. He says, what a glorious day.
Oh, good.
My Eagles won and Hurts was good. But you know what they say? Every clock is right twice a day. Good job. Do it again.
Boy, Pump. I love you, man.
Yo, Pump, I'm hitting you with the Sileo treatment. Fuck you, Pump.
Hey, Pumper. Bum juice, man. Hey, by the way, Brian, you know what today is? It's either going to be two things. The guy does well, or it's, guess what? Fool's gold. We shall see. It's one or the other.
Good stuff. We're going to get to our commercial break. Appreciate everybody watching the show right now. Hit that like button. We got to get at least 500, 1,000 likes for this football team. 10 straight wins, Big Sills. Jalen Hurts has now joined a list of John Elway, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning are the only quarterbacks to have 3 consecutive years of 10 straight win, or 3 different times where he had 10-plus win streak.
Let's see here. Elway has 2 rings. Who's the other guy? Manning has 2 rings. Who's the other guy?
Brady's got what, 7?
Brady's got 7 rings. And Hurts has
what? Got 3 rings.
And Hurts has ungats.
There's only one answer to that equation. As a mathematician myself, there's only one answer to that equation. Jalen Hurts is the next person there to get a ring, Big Sil.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. Okay. Hey, congratulations to you. What a great day. And Eagle fans should be absolutely over the top today and what they did to the Steelers. And I'm not actually kidding.
It was a good win. It's 10 straight.
No, Zander. Not a good win. It was a great win.
It was a great win. I thought it was the best win of the year today.
It is.
What you were able to do versus the 10-win team and the Steelers, an AFC opponent in Philly.
And you beat them up.
Yeah, you did. You flat out beat them up. By the way, can we just give credit to one player on their team? How good is TJ Watt, dude? I mean, man. He is.
Even Lane was having trouble with him.
When you give Lane Johnson problems, you know you're good.
Yeah. You mean Lane was having problems with him out there. And boy, I'll tell you what, how about his pursuit angle too, man, that when he gets by the guy, Hurts, I mean, he just chases him down. He has got great speed, man. What a great football player.
Polska Trucker checks in. I got to get to this one before the break. Polska, appreciate it, man. I'll get to all super chats, by the way, before the end of the show. We always read every super chat here on JAKIB Sports, so we appreciate you guys. Polska says, this showed that if you're going to stop Barkley, Jalen showed he could throw it. Good game by Jalen stepping up. Good stuff there by Polska.
Not a good game, a great game. It's his best game he's played in 2 years.
I'm happy to hear Big Sills give Jalen Hurts a little bit of credit.
I did at the very beginning. I said he had a really great game. I mean, there's no getting around it. No,
you were the best form of the Grinch I've ever seen in the open.
No. You see, we're talking about today because we can't talk about his season. It's been horseshit. We're talking about today.
Not been horseshit.
Oh, no, you're right. When you have the 31st ranked offensive passing team, no, he's played great.
Well, I know, but there has to be some context added to that.
Here's the context. Baltimore and Detroit do the same shit every week, and they're balanced in their offense, and you're not.
He's got almost 3,000 passing yards now. He's 69.2 on completion percentage, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. It's not Josh Allen. It's not those type of guys. You're right. But with this offense, with this team, he's having a good year right now.
How is he having a good year when your offense is ranked 31st in passing and 1st in rushing? How is that a good year?
It won't be after that monster performance.
Oh, yeah. You know what they'll be? They'll be 27th.
78% completions today, Sills, for 290 and 2 touchdowns.
What a game he played. Unbelievable game he played.
Great stuff by Big Sills.
By the way, does he have more rushing touchdowns right now than he has passing touchdowns? Or is that number kind of still in the room there? Because, man, I'll tell you, he might lead the NFL in rushing touchdowns this year. Now, don't worry about passing touchdowns.
First in the NFL in rushing touchdowns right now, 14.
Yeah, so get this. You have a quarterback in Philly that's got a better chance of leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns than ever in passing touchdowns. There you go. Go ahead. It's all good. You're right. It's great.
It's a new style of quarterback. I'll admit that there's.
Oh, it's a new style.
Well, it is. I mean, it's not new completely. You see it across the league, but I think to the extent that Jalen does it with the run and with the finishing it off, it is. It's different. I mean, that's why it's hard to sometimes. What's that?
It's just not consistent.
Well, the run is consistent.
Well, he's not.
He's consistent in the run.
He's not consistent in the pass.
Yeah, well, he was. We've talked about that enough this week. I'm coming off a big pass.
Oh, we talked about it enough probably this year.
Yeah, well, he comes off a big performance versus Steelers.
No, you're right. He's thrown for more yards in one game than he did in the last 3. I got it. No, hey, he's played great. Okay.
Don't let
hey, folks, let me throw this at you here. When your quarterback doubles and triples the amount of passing yards he's had in the last 3 games in the NFL, and someone tells me he's had a great season, okay. Hey. Yeah, all right. He's had a great game, though. Jay, I don't want to dismiss it. Absolutely sensational ball game today. And you're 12-2, and you are the front. Get this. Here's what I'll do for you. Your defense is sensational. Your O-line is great. Your quarterback had a great game today in light of the fact that your running game was nowhere. Played great today. He surely did. Has he all year? My opinion, no. He's never been consistent this season, but he showed today that when he needed them to step up, they did. And by the way, AJ was great. Devontae was great. The whole passing thing against the 25th ranked passing defense in pro football, they took advantage of it. The Eagles have struggled. You said it too, I think on Thursday, that the Pittsburgh Steelers, if you were going to beat them, you weren't going to beat them running the ball. You were going to beat him throwing the ball. That's exactly what happened. And that's the trend.
Yep. A great game today by Jalen Hurts. I'll just give everybody the stat line one more time here. Birds win the game today, 27-13. And Jalen Hurts was 25 of 32 today for 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he had another touchdown on the ground along with 45 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts today. Saquon Barkley was 19 for 65 on the ground. A.J. Brown, 8 catches, 110 yards, and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 11 catches. How about that? 11 catches for Smitty, 109 and a touchdown today. So both receivers involved, Jalen Hurts involved, Saquon involved. Everybody got involved today, Big Sills.
I'll tell you this, that game really was 34-13.
Yeah, should have been.
Because they could have jammed that in.
They could have scored. Yep.
Okay. I mean, that was a 34-13 ball game that they could have jammed in on that. So, I mean, they completely, Pittsburgh, because of the coaching and because of the defense they had, kept them kind of in it. You know what I'm saying, Zander? They kept them kind of in it. And I'll tell you who else kept them in it. I'm not a guy that does this. I really don't. But I don't know what the NFL officials were looking at today with numerous calls out there. They were all over. That pick that they called on Smitty was a bullshit call, man. Dude, he was trying to get out of the way. He put his hands up, and they called him on it. I'm like, I thought the NFL officiating, I thought for sure, I thought they missed the boat today, and they kept Pittsburgh in that game.
We'll get to our first commercial break. We'll talk to John McMullen coming up soon from Lincoln Financial Field. I got 2 questions for Big Sills when we return from the break. One of them will be addressing a super chat who says, Zander and Sills, your game ball goes to who? We'll talk about that next. And then a big question on the NFC. We'll talk about that all coming up next on the JAKIB Postgame Show after a Birds win their 10th straight game, everybody. And remember, don't let the Grinch steal Christmas. We'll be back in 3.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, we got this.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an Audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Back in, everybody, to the JAKIB Postgame Show. Eagles win their 10th straight game in Philly today. They beat the Steelers, who now moved to 10-4. Birds moved to 12-2. 27-13, your final score. Jalen Hurts, 25-32, 290 and 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, 19 for 65 yards. A.J. Brown, 8 catches for 110 and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, 11 catches, 109 and a touchdown. An impressive performance all around by the offense. And also, on the defense, who also played a very good game today, held the Steelers to just 13 points and 180 yards of total. 190 yards of total offense. So the defense had another huge day for the Philadelphia Eagles, or 10th straight, as I mentioned. So big win for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Zander Krause, host of the Postgame Show. I'm joined by Dan Sileo, host of the National Football Show, and a Miami Hurricane legend here on the show, a 1987 national champion. We'll be joined by John McMullen shortly. Big Sills, I got a question for you coming off that game, brother. Are the Philadelphia Eagles, in your opinion, the best team in the NFC through 15 weeks?
Yes. And my question mark was never about the offensive talent at the beginning of the year. I didn't believe this defense was going to be in a position right now where on December 15th, they're the best defensive football team. They're better than Kansas City. I mean, and again, this goes to Vic Fangio, and believe it or not, it goes to Howie, because here's what he did. Even with the absolute miss and gigantic whiff on Bryce Huff, your grand slams are Mitchell, DeJean. Most importantly, it's been Bond. And boy, I'll tell you this, Nakobe, he is really prospered by those two guys in front of him playing better and the guy next to him playing better. Got to hand it to him, man. That defensive football team is so far advanced from where I thought it was going to be. I mean, take a look at it last year. You had a football team that you thought was going to be really great. They were 10-1 at one time. All of a sudden, they fell off the planet, and you were like, but I never saw what I'm seeing now with the abilities, man. There's really great athletes out there. That's Zach Bond, man. Like I said, him tackling in space is insane. And Nakobe's really playing well inside. He's filling the gap well. They're stopping the run. I mean, they pretty much, without a doubt, shut down that Pittsburgh running attack. Pittsburgh, if they don't get play action, Zander, they can't win ball games.
And you said that on the pregame show. Credit to you. You said if they can't get that going, they'll struggle today, and they couldn't get it going at all.
And they were awesome. I mean, the edges were set. Nolan Smith played a fine ball game today. I'll have to go back and watch a little bit more, but I thought every time I saw them try to run at him, I thought he squeezed the edge down. I thought he did a nice job. And I'll say it one more time. On the other side, I think Josh Sweat he's having a really good under-the-radar season this year, and wouldn't be shocked if you see him in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good stuff there. Can't believe it. I mean, you're ready to say this team is better than Detroit in your opinion.
Yeah, because I think defensively here, do you really believe that you're going to see that defense who hasn't done this all year? You think they're giving up 48 points to the Bills?
I do not, but do they give up 34 to the Lions?
No. I mean, what's the most points they've given up this year?
I mean, the Eagles, that's actually a good question. What's the most points the Eagles have given up?
That's a trend to me. Dude, all year long, what's the most points they gave up? The Bucs, 31, I think.
33 to the Bucs. That was the most.
Okay.
They gave up 29 to the Packers in week 1. They gave up 20 to the Rams. 19 to the Ravens, 13 to the Steelers. You're right, 33 to the Bucs and 29.
How much in that 10-game winning streak have they given up defensively? Have they given up in the 10-game win streak?
Well, the 10-game win streak started after the bye.
Yeah, so after the bye.
Given up in that time span would be, I guess, 23, would it be, to the Jaguars?
23 to the Jaguars.
Yeah, that would be the most points they gave up in a game during the 10-game win streak.
That's who they are.
Yeah.
That's what they are. 23 to the Jaguars. Okay? The football team, dude, that football team, if Vic Fangio is not the defensive assistant coach of the year, I don't know who is, because he's absolutely just changed this entire dynamic. Did I believe that the defense would be where it's at now? No, I said it'd be good next year, not this year. That's how most of the time it works, because you're so new and young. I mean, that's how it works. I've never seen a team like, look at the last 3 years. Zander, you're second in defense in 22. You're 31st in pass defense, 23. Now you're probably number 1 in pass defense in 24.
Yeah.
You tell me, I mean, you talk one thing the Eagles are consistent at is being inconsistent on defense. And right now they're riding a wave.
Okay, Vic Fangio deserves whatever award you can give to a defensive coordinator. He deserves it. Mesmerized checked in. He says, Zander and Sills, your game ball goes to who? I'm going to take the easy one here. It's obviously going to Jalen Hurts for me. But an honorable mention will be A.J. Brown for creating potentially the turning point in the Philadelphia Eagles offense. I said it on Twitter today. I said, boy, if this offense can do this every week, that drama was the best thing to ever happen to this football team. And when you respond to drama with a win, I think he has a chance to galvanize a team and really become a positive thing. Versus if you lose that game, you could go into a bit of a tailspin. They obviously weathered the storm, had a big passing game today. Jalen Hurts is my player of the game. My game ball goes to him.
My game ball goes to Nick Sirianni.
Oh, you copped out.
And I'll tell you why. And if you want to go player, I'll go Devontae. 11 catches, 109.
You copped out.
Okay, well, you asked me, and I told you.
That's fine.
And I'll tell you why. This was probably the biggest win for him since the meltdown of a year ago. This was a big win for him. I mean, it was a big win for him. Perception-wise, team-wise, locker room-wise. It was a really big win. And get what Zander just said. Everything here, let's echo this, what he just said, Zander. Zander goes like this. Hey, man, this was a big win. Galvanized the team. It rallied the team. It really shows you that this could be something they could use moving forward. Isn't that Nick's job?
It is. And doesn't it look like he did a good job at it this week?
Well, the end result is yes.
Yeah. And that's
so
why
to me, all the things you just said, that's Nick's only job, dude. That's his only guy. He's got to calm the waters. A year ago, he didn't calm the waters.
Is it fair to say he learned from what happened a year ago?
Yeah. I mean, that was a really great performance by them. I mean, and bro, again, the sideline stuff, I'm aside from that, I didn't like the fact that they stopped the clock to give the Steelers. I thought that was a little bit kooky. And what were you going to do with 20 seconds left? I know you had 2 timeouts.
Well, I think I understood it at the 40-second mark, because if you can get that ball back, the way the offense was moving that ball in the first half, if you need, remember, they got the ball in the kickoff at the 34. So what would you have needed there? 28, 30 yards to be in field goal range with 40 seconds on the clock. I think you can make that happen. I mean, remember, we watched the playoff game where there was 3 touchdowns in 40 seconds a couple years ago.
And obviously he was feeling good about himself with Jake Elliott.
Yeah.
So he was feeling good. You know, he was feeling good about it.
Dude, look at this stat. I mean, this is insane. Lord Lubu, thanks for bringing this up. Eagles' final drive was 21 plays. Remember, it started at their own 3.
Wow.
88 yards, 10.5 minutes.
And never got the ball back, Pittsburgh.
That is insane.
They ended the game with 10.5 minutes left.
21 play. I've never heard of that.
Never.
21 play drive?
21 play drive, dude. You don't see that in college.
That is absurd. Lord Lubu, good stat there, brother. That was
and by the way, this is still in light of the Eagles having 2 turnovers. I mean, the 2 turnovers in the game, and I think, what did he give up? Hurts and sacks is this game. I mean, what did he give up? 4? I mean, so they had 2 turnovers. They had 2 turnovers in this ball game, and Hurts was sacked 3 times. I think he was sacked 3 times.
Yeah, 3 times today.
He was sacked 3 times in the game, which is now 38 on the year. They had 2 turnovers, and they still blew them out.
Go to a couple super chats here. Greg Tyson checks in $20. Greg, appreciate it, man. Big Sills, what do you say about Jalen's performance today?
Today, outstanding. I mean, and he was great today. There was no doubt. There was nothing looking at the numbers too, they don't lie. Anytime they needed a big play, I agree with Brady a little bit, and I'm gonna hang on what the GOAT said. The GOAT said he still holds on to the ball. There's still guys wide open. He didn't feel it in the second. He thought in the second quarter he was kind of like allowing Pittsburgh back in because he just wasn't ripping away. And then all of a sudden, if you remember right in the sequence, Zander, he made a completion to Devontae or AJ, I think it was. And Brady said, you see how he got the ball out quick there? That's what he's at his best. I'll tell you one thing you noticed in that game. Did you not notice that he got better when they went up-tempo rhythm? Did you not know? I mean, instead of sitting back, when they got to the line of scrimmage, I think he's better with quick tempo than he is having them sit back and call sequences out. When they up that tempo like that and they get that line of scrimmage, I love what Brady said. You know what it does? Get this. Brady was so good on the call today, not so much his execution, but what he said. He said this, when they went up tempo, you know what you make Pittsburgh do? And he played against Pittsburgh all those years. You know what he said? You give pre-snap destinations on what the landmarks on pre-snap throws are going to be and where you're going to see them. When you go up tempo, you have a better vision of where the open receiver is going to be. Brady gave me a little bit on how he played against teams like the Colts and Pittsburgh by doing that. I got to tell you, Zander, I mean, when they went up tempo, I thought he got a lot better in the ball game. I like when they're up tempo like that.
Yeah, and they clearly have a better offense when they are up tempo. A little update, thanks to somebody for tagging me this on Twitter. A.J. Brown got asked after the game about his touchdown celebration. He says, I quote, "That was our moment to tell everyone to shut up."
No, that was the moment to tell Big Sills to shut up.
Yeah, everybody to shut the hell up. I love it. T-Bone checks in with $20. T-Bone, thank you. Thanks everybody for the super chats, man. It's really cool of you guys. Very good win today, he says. Offensive played as it should have all year. Turnover is not good. By the way, Bills D missing key players. Birds D better than Bills and Lions by far. I'm not satisfied yet offensively. I want consistency from now to Super Bowl. Go Birds. Good take there by T-Bone.
That's exactly my take, T-Bone. Yeah. T-Bone. In the micro, they were out. That's the best win of the year. Better than Baltimore. Okay. Now, again, there's an electric player on the Baltimore team, but I think Pittsburgh's more balanced. And I think they took Pittsburgh apart today, man. I mean, Zander, defensively, they crushed them. Boy, George Pickens was some miss today, man. They could – how many 3-and-outs did they get in the first 15 minutes? 3? Didn't they get 3 in a row?
Yeah, impressive stuff. Jalen Hurts speaking now at the podium, so we'll talk to John McMullen right after Jalen Hurts is done speaking. He spoke about the finger. It is broken, he said, and it did impact my play. And then he has a little bit of fun, and he says, so that's what y'all wanted to see, huh? So Jalen Hurts taking some shots. A.J. Brown taking some shots.
So that's what y'all – he should toot his horn.
Yeah, he should. It was a big game for him, man. He had a good game today.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, I like it, actually. Good for him.
You know what else I do want to say, because everybody's like, oh, yeah, media, shut up. Well, does everybody see why you want a good passing game, though, today? Because I think it really showed you why you, as good as Saquon's been, as awesome it is to have a great running team, this is why you want to have a great passing game. Look at how much more dynamic you can be as a football team when you get those types of players involved.
Does dynamic to you mean unstoppable?
Well, nobody's unstoppable in the NFL.
Well, I thought that when you play like that and you have Barkley, you are unstoppable.
I know. And you have that defense. The defense makes it all for me. I mean, the defense playing as good as they are makes this team a serious force to be reckoned with. Like I said, you're gonna have to put up huge points. And here's, in my opinion, to beat the Eagles right now, you're gonna have to put up 40 or more points and get 3 turnovers. And if you don't, you're not beating them. Yeah. Let me ask you this. This is a hypothetical, all right? This is a good one, though. It's a good one. If Jalen Hurts, let's just assume for the sake of the conversation, if Jalen Hurts plays like he did today, if that becomes his standard, okay, how far does this Eagles team go?
It's 20. Did that not remind you of 22?
I got to be honest. I think it looked better than 22 today. I don't think Jalen was that polished.
Here's the difference, though. 22 was way consistent every week. This was once. But to your question, you posed,
throw the ball like that every week, how far does this team go?
Yes, you can get to New Orleans. Yes,
we went into New Orleans. Are we winning in New Orleans in that?
Oh, I don't know that yet. I don't know who you're playing yet. If you're playing Mahomes, no. But if you're playing someone else, you are.
Mahomes got a little banged up today. We'll see what happens with that.
Oh, yeah. I heard ankle injury. He walked out of that game with an ankle injury.
I think they said he was week to week after. I'm not sure what that means. So we'll see, how that plays out. I don't think the AFC is as powerful this year as they once were. I mean, that Bills team is really good, but they're limited. I mean, you can beat that Bills team. I know they're good, and Josh Allen's having an insane year. He's going to be the MVP of the league. I think that team is very beatable.
Your team comes down. I mean, so are you if you don't play like that at quarterback every week.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're not wrong about that. Yeah.
Okay,
Every team is
Josh
beatable in
Allen,
the
the
NFL,
difference
but-
between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts is he plays like that every week.
Yeah, and he's got less talent around him.
Like, yeah, right. And he's got 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks. I don't know. I mean, and you know what? You're playing against a pretty elite teams here. So, yeah.
Good stuff there. Appreciate everybody checking in on the show. I'll get to a couple more super chats here. And as we wait for John McMullen, who should be joining very soon, let me text him real quick, do some business on the air, make sure he gets in here. Good to Nosty Beats, who says, Hurts reminds me of my kids. They have that one weekend day where they actually pick up their toys to keep me off their asses for the next month.
Oh, my God. Hey, Nasty, that's that's a kind of a genius way to look at it, but I'm with you, man. I'm a creature of people doing it week in and week out. I'm not a creature of, hey, holy shit, we're back. No, I'm not jumping off that cliff yet.
Don't let the Grinch steal Christmas, everybody. 10 straight wins.
That's
for
impressive.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's
Troy
impressive.
Darnell checks in and says, the question was, what would happen if Barkley gets shut down? How many games did Barkley get shut down? Now watch as the goalpost move.
Wait a minute. Let's wait and see before we go anywhere with that, what the prognosis is on Barkley here. Listen, Barkley is essential.
Well, I think today he meant he got shut down, though.
But again, that's going to come down to Hurts again, having to be able to go out there and play like that on a consistent basis, Zander. I mean, hey, they shut Barkley down completely. He picked the mail up. Don't you agree? This is the first game that when Barkley was kind of stymied a bit, Hurts picked his game up and won. It only took him 5 fucking months. I mean, thank you. But he did it against a great team. Bah humbug.
Dog. What do you mean he did it?
Bah humbug.
You don't get the 12-2 though in the NFL, Sills, with stiff play at quarterback. You don't.
Oh, no, you're right. He's okay. Well, then if you think he's played well, you and I don't have a debate, really.
No, I think there's a difference between playing like a stiff and playing like an MVP. Today he played like an MVP. He hasn't all year. I'll agree with you on that. But you don't get the 12-2 with shitty quarterback play.
Okay. All right. I think you got to where you are by exactly what you said last week. They can't just run the ball like this, and that's all they're doing. And Kellen Moore sucks because the offense has relied so much on just running the ball. And all of a sudden now we're kind of flipping the script here a little bit. And now all of a sudden he's playing great football. And I'm like, no, he hasn't. So again, I'm not debating that. He has not played. I think he's played average football this year with an absolutely fantastic game today.
In Sileo land, no goalpost goes unmoved. You got to give him credit for being able to pick up and move every goalpost that exists.
No, all you have to do is look at the season. I don't really have to. No, all you have to do is look at his body of work.
No goalpost will go left unmoved, baby. John Ward checks in. Appreciate it, John. He says, great option and conversation. I've been enjoying JAKIB sports content all year. Go Birds. John, really cool of you, man. Thank you so much.
John, one of the things we'd like to do here is not sound like WIP or the other people else.
Here. Yeah. That's what I mean. People call like, why do you have Sileo on? It's not, we're not trying to create an echo chamber. We want to create great sports talk with different conversation, different opinions, different analysis from everybody. And I think we're doing a good job. John, thank you, man. That's really cool of you. Rodney Burton says, dual threat. Zander, Brian Pumper's like, look at Brian Pumper. Brian Pumper has his own fan club on JAKIB. I love it. Missed my super earlier. I'll get to it, Rodney. I always get to every super, brother. Sills consistency is everything. I'm there with you, brother. But I'm paying 20 to hear you say that. Dual threat. Bird gang, 12-2.
Dual threat. He was dual threat today. I'll give you one more. Dual threat.
I love it. 20 for a dual threat. Good stuff there. But my brother there, appreciate that for checking.
By the way, my friend, I don't pass. I'm not a guy that gives shout outs. Okay. So I gave you, hey, by the way, all supers get shout outs.
Good stuff. Appreciate everybody for all the super chats, all the love. Hit that like button, everybody. What's the number that we're up to on the like? John McMullen just shot me a text. He is on his way. So we will be talking to John in just a couple of minutes. George Norris says, we're so good, we do have to pass. They just proved if they need it that they can. I think that's a good take. That was kind of my takeaway.
Do you think they've proved if they need to pass the ball to win ball games, they've proved it today?
Well, you're right about consistency, but can't we say this? Because remember, last week I said they can, and you're like, well, when have you seen it? And you're right. I hadn't.
You mean they have the ability?
They have the ability, and they showed that. Like, if you ask me the question on the show when we're inevitably having a debate on the National Football Show, and you say, well, where have you seen that? I'm going to say, well, I saw it versus the Steelers.
Okay. And you know what I'll turn around and say? I'll go like this. You did see it against the Steelers. Can you name me another time?
You'll have something to rip me on. Who knows what it would be?
No, the fucking stupid comment about the sissy face or something, whatever you.
Oh my God, you started this show.
I don't even know what the hell I've never heard that bullshit.
I knew when he joined the pre-show, everybody, and he looks at me.
No.
Good win. Good win. Oh, no, we got that. We appreciate that. Lord's Grace says, well, it took A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to talk shit to Hurts in order for him to throw them the ball. Otherwise, Hurts turns back into a running back. Oh, this is a shitty comment.
Hey, Lord's Grace, it's a great comment. Listen, he finally had to throw the ball to him, and look what they did. Hey, by the way, get this. Kellen Moore don't suck today, does he? How you doing, Lord's Grace? I've been telling you flat out. All of a sudden now, hey, doesn't Kellen Moore get kind of credit for a 10-game winning streak too?
Sure.
Oh, there's a shitty face. There's a sissy. What do you call it? A hissy face?
The stink face.
He just gave us a hissy face. Sure.
You got to be kidding me. Lord's Grace, that's a shitty comment, Lords. Josh Herman checks in. Sills is right. One good game doesn't change the past, but let's take a W and build on it and change the future.
Completely true. Completely 1,000%. And absolutely unZander. Great super chat. Thank you.
You're gonna love this next one. Brian Pumper checks in. Hurts had a good game. I liken it to a Corey Brewer 50-point game.
Oh man, I don't think
you
so.
Gotta be kidding me, Brian.
Okay.
I'll say it again. Don't let the Grinch steal Christmas, everybody. 27-13.
Before you bring John McMullen on, all I want to say is an absolutely sensational game. The question moving forward will be, once again, okay, you have the ability. Okay? You have the ability. This is going to be essential in you making it to New Orleans.
I agree. Big passing game today for the Birds. Let's go to John McMullen live from from Lincoln Financial Field, joining the show today. Johnny Mac, welcome to the show, brother. Birds get their 10th straight win, 27-13. Jalen's passing the ball everywhere. AJ's getting the ball. Devontae's getting the ball. What do you make of it, John? Your first reaction to the Birds?
Oh, boy, man, that was a beatdown. That was a beatdown of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, that was an emphatic win. 10 consecutive wins for the Eagles, franchise record. Done it nine straight a bunch of times before. The first time they've taken it to 10, so that's a positive. But this was their most impressive win of the season by far. I mean, they destroyed that team, and that's a good football team. They destroyed that team to the point where, the final drive, I think, was 10:28. They took off the clock. 10:28 to close the game. And then the passing game getting going. We're joking about, hey, what's the problem now? Get the ground game going. What's going on? They were so spectacular passing the football. And A.J. Brown. And this is where all the frustration stemmed from, because it should be easy, right? With that offensive line, with those receivers, it should be easy. Today it was easy against a very good defense. And TJ Watt, man, that dude is unbelievable.
We
But
talked about him a little earlier. He's
Yeah.
insane, John.
yeah, I mean, his ability to, and Nick was talking about it this week about his GPS to track the football. And then when he punches it out, man, that guy's spectacular.
I can't believe Jalen hung on to that when he was.
I know the
strip
second
sack.
one. Yeah.
That one
couldn't-
tremendous job.
holding that ball. That was
Hey,
insane.
hey, John, to your point about being killed, I mean, the respect that Sirianni had for Tomlin taking a knee, they could have punched it in and put 34 up on it. But how about this thing, John? 77 offensive plays to 40 plays, 41 plays.
to 41.
I mean, John, it was 2-1. I mean,
And Pittsburgh came in. Pittsburgh came in as the number one time of possession team in the NFL. It was 39-52 to 20-08. So basically 40-20. 66.7% of the game, the Eagles were on the field offensively. Like I said, it was emphatic. 401 to 163 total yards, 26 to 10 first downs. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to recover from this beatdown. This is like when San Francisco beat the Eagles last year, and the Eagles went into a spiral and said, we can't compete with that team. That's what Pittsburgh is probably saying right now. They can't compete with that team.
John, did they answer your concerns in the passing game today, or you still want to see more? Where are you on the passing game today?
No, they answered a lot of my concerns, because all you have to do is get the football to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Doesn't have to be complicated. You saw today against a very good defense. Doesn't have to be scheming guys open. Everybody's upset. You got to scheme this guy open. You got to scheme this guy open. A.J. Brown schemes himself open. Devontae Smith schemes himself open. They're better than the opponent 9 times out of 10. Simple. Get them the football. Today they got them the football. Whether it was, the reason why they did, if it was what happened last week, hey, maybe tip the cap to the dreaded media, because they fucking fixed it. I'll tell you that.
I'll tell you, John, I have a question for you on that, though. Was it more so that they wanted to throw the ball more because, again, Barkley got really banged up in that game, too. He missed the entire second quarter. I mean, and when you look at really Pittsburgh's deficiency, it's in that secondary where they were down in the 28th, the late 20s. So, again, Jalen was on fire, not taking anything away from that. It was his best game of the year, maybe a year and a half when he came to the passing game. But Barkley got beat up. John, did you hear anything? Anybody make any comments? Because, you want him healthy. It just looks like to me Pittsburgh did a great job stuffing him.
Yeah, they did. He had one 22-yard run, and if you take it was 18 for 43 besides that. So they did a good job on him. He's been banged up a couple times this year where he's had to sort of take himself out for a series or two and then comes back in. So he's been, when you carry the football as much as he does, touch it as much as he does, it's week 15 in the NFL. That's why it's so hard to beat Eric Dickerson's record or 2,000 yards. The biggest problem is not that you can't do it. It's that, can you stay healthy for the whole way? And that's the bigger hurdle. So, I think maybe people should realize who gives a shit about that record, to be honest, because you'd rather have them healthy for the playoffs. And hopefully, more common sense will come into that conversation, because the Eagles' goals are, getting a lot closer, because Detroit not only lost today, but, Dan Campbell said Lynn McNeil and Carlton Davis are out for the year. So they lost two more.
Wow.
Two more key defenders. Yeah. He believes they're season-ending injuries. So 2 more key defensive players. I mean, at this stage, it's coming up all Eagles.
John, let me ask you this here about Hurts here today. Just to show you again, to hammer that nail in. I mean, they had 2 turnovers and he was sacked 3 times. That's almost 40 on the year now. And they blew that team out now. I mean, they're playing better football, and there's no question. My only concern would be this, John, I'm a creature of trends. And so is this going to be a trend moving forward, or is this going to be, we've always, I think all of us have always thought they have the ability to do this, but they haven't executed it. You always bring this point up, John. Hey, you could draw all the plays up on the board you want, but if you don't execute it, this comes down to player accountability here. So again, for me, I like you said, John, I'm not looking for the number 1 passing offense or the number 10 passing offense. I'm just looking for you to kind of move the sticks with these guys on a consistent basis. I don't think you could be first in rushing and last in passing and sit there and tell me, well, you know what? We're going to turn it on week in and week in, week out. That was a great game today. I'm not dismissing that, but I'd like to see a little more consistency, because the one thing they haven't been consistent in the passing game this year. And I think this is a great test coming up. I think Washington next now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a divisional game. If they go for 300 yards, Zander, I'll say it. I think they've answered a lot of questions if they could put back-to-back weeks together.
Yeah, and they have some time to figure things out as well. If they can get by Washington, then you have obviously a Dallas team and a Giants team that aren't going anywhere. So some time to figure it out, some time perhaps depending on what goes on with Detroit. Minnesota's got to play tomorrow night. We'll see what happens with them. But yeah, this team's in good shape. And the fact that they're able to throw the football the way they did today speaks to the fact that they, can do it, should do it. And it makes them a more well-rounded team, and that's what you want to be. Jalen Hurts just talked about it. By the way, he confirmed he broke his finger too, so he's dealing with that. And, the fact that you have A.J. Brown, the fact that you have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert's going to be back for the playoffs. There's no reason that this team shouldn't be able to do each side of it. That's what we all envisioned when Howie Roseman put this together. Okay, you got this great group of pass catchers. Now you add Saquon Barkley to it. You have the best offensive line. It should have been easier than it has been. And today it looked easy. It looked easy against a very good defense.
Well-coached team. Hey, John, I said to Zander a couple minutes ago, I think that was a really big win for Nick, and kind of like everyone looking at him. And again, last year there was situations where people questioned whether or not he could put fires out. And even if that's true, John, a perception will be looked at as, well, they responded. Zander said it out of the gate. They responded today, and Nick has one job, the culture in the locker room, really, when it comes down to what he did. Yeah. And you know what? I thought it was a big Sunday for him.
Well, Devontae Smith, after the game, said there were difficult conversations this week. So for people that think it was nothing, it was something. The ironic thing is I think AJ, Devontae, and Jalen Hurts were all on the same page. That part, I think, was a little bit disconnected from reality because it got focused on personal relationships. As far as football, they were on the same page. Like, we got to get this going. We can't throw for 108 yards. We can't throw for 118 yards. This is ridiculous. And they may have overcorrected from the early season struggles. It went too heavy to the running game. And hey, if you can figure things out when you're still winning football games, that's the best case scenario. You usually have to figure things out when you get beat. And everybody goes back to the drawing board and says, all right, we got to change this. We got to change that. We have to adjust this. It's easy after a loss. This team keeps winning 10 consecutive, and they keep making adjustments, which I think is a positive thing for a potential championship level team. And this, if they play like this, they're going to win the Super Bowl. Now, it's hard to play like this every week, but if they play like this, they're going to win the Super Bowl.
How about this, John? You have Carolina the way you played last week, and you played this week versus the Steelers. Well, who are you then?
Well, exactly. Well, and that's the point. You can't play like this every week. You can't.
Right.
You know, Carolina, we talked about it, whether you want to call it a trap game, a human nature game. You know, these are human beings. I mean, you can't just play at an optimal level 100% of the time. But this shows you the ceiling of this team. I think this Pittsburgh game, because I'm sure there have been other impressive wins by good teams, but this is about as complete a football game as I've seen all year from anybody. They destroyed that team.
And that's a good team.
They gave up 2 yards in the first quarter. It was from the get-go. They stifled them offensively, defensively, other than TJ Watt, the occasional play. And they did a nice job with the 2 turnovers early. One was on special teams. That's what Pittsburgh does. But overall, this is about as complete a game as you will see in the NFL this season.
John, did you get any insight on what went on the sidelines with Clint Hurt and with Nick?
I think Nick was pissed off. They got a bit of a break there because, you know, Jalen Carter slapped and that was before the punt. So I think the officials made a mistake. I have to look at the pool report, but should have been Pittsburgh's football, and they would have got 15 yards. So they would have been about the 31 or 32 yard line. Now, ultimately, they got together and said it was after the punt. It wasn't after the punt, from what I saw. So I think the Eagles got a bit of a break. And Nick was pissed off because that's a stupid play. That's a stupid thing to do. And, you know, he's not going to get into the personal conversations. My assumption is Clint's trying to protect his guy, and Nick's like, look, it's stupid. Don't defend him. That's my presumption of what happened. But, yeah, it was a stupid play by Jalen Carter.
John, how impressive has Vic Fangio been and what he's done to his defense?
Oh, my God. I mean, I tweeted out the numbers in this 9-game winning streak coming in, which were astronomical. I mean, and I'll try to pull them up when I'm talking, but they're number one in everything: points per game, yards per game, sacks, yards per play, number one for 9 consecutive games in every major category. And they were better today. Less points, less yards per play. It's amazing to me that I can say this with a straight face. This is the best defense in the NFL. Where we were pre-Vic Fangio, you and I talk every day about this team, Zander. I mean, anybody who says they saw this coming is lying, or they're a blind, bait fan. It's unbelievable what he has done with this team. And
you and I, John, the same thing. I mean, I thought this defense would be better next year early. And for them to be on December 15th, I said the same thing earlier. I go, I'm ready to say it. They're the best football team defensively in the National Football League. I mean, since the bye, John, the most points they gave up was Jacksonville, 23. I mean, you're holding teams down in the teens now. I mean, it's unbelievable. How about this? That Zach Bond in open space. I can't believe
my Lord.
What an open field tackler he is. And how about this one? Nakobe Dean playing the inside I thought Jordan Davis played well inside, stopping the run. What they're doing in there and how they're handling the triangle and Zach Bond in open space. John, he might be the best linebacker the Eagles have had in open space since Seth. He
got caught on, I think it was a flicker, but I don't need. He got caught on a wide receiver, and he was 30 yards downfield, and he's pissed off at himself because he's a step behind a wide receiver, 30 yards down the field. I mean, that's like Derek Brooks territory.
Yeah.
Guys covering that far down the field. Yeah, he's been an all-pro level player, which they signed him for $1.6 million. So, even the Eagles didn't envision this. And we've talked about that a lot. Vic Fangio, for whatever reason, said they signed him to be an edge rusher, a backup edge rusher, and a special teams player. He was a good special teams player in New Orleans. And Vic was like, you know what? I think he can play off-ball linebacker. And boy, can he play off-ball linebacker. And we're at a large sample size. We're almost done the season. So, he's an all-pro player. So they came in over that 9-game winning streak. But I finally found it, 15.3 points per game. They gave up 13 today. 248 yards a game, number one in the NFL. They gave up 163 today. Yards per play, 4.2, led the NFL. They're under 4 today. I think it was 3.8. This is unbelievable, the way this defense is performing. Short fields, a couple times they, because of a bad punt and the fumble early with Cooper DeJean, they were on short fields on a couple of occasions. Not stopping them, holding them to field goals. It's Vic Fangio is, I said, considering his reputation, you know how that goes, Dan. Everybody talks about people, and they almost can't live up to the reputation, whether it's a player or a coach. Oh, this guy's the greatest defensive coordinator. This guy's he's it. He's even better than his reputation should suggest it. And I'm not talking about the scheme, because everybody runs the scheme. Well, so many people run the scheme.
Player development. It's player development.
Yeah, it's about player development. It's about teaching the concepts he wants to run so the players can run them effectively. It's about the teaching. And he's unbelievable at it, as you see with the younger players.
Yeah, they really are playing unbelievable football right now. John, did you hear anything or learn anything about Saquon Barkley? I know he didn't have his best game, but to me, he didn't look himself. I don't know if he was nursing a little bit of an injury. Anything you know about Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, he talked after the game. He's not hurt, hurt. But he was in the second quarter. I mentioned on the halftime show. I was watching him on the sidelines. He was visibly trying to shake out his leg and trying to get it loose. So that's just wear and tear of 15 games and 15 weeks, getting beat up every week as a running back. That's the life of a running back. That's what's going on with Saquon Barkley. But he's, as Dan will tell you, there's hurt and there's injured.
There's 15. Hey, John, there's week 15, and then there's injury. Okay. My concern, John, would be more with Lane and with Dickerson. I mean, those guys there, obviously, they were both out at one time at the same time. I mean, those guys look
Mackay
like
Mackay got banged up. Mackay got banged up as well. I saw them all in the locker room, so they're all, again, hurt, not injured, banged up, week 15. It's better than Detroit. When you're losing guys for the season versus guys who get banged up and have to leave. Well, I talked to Lane for a long time. He's fine. Jordan's fine. Mackay's fine. Landon's been banged up all year. He's the toughest guy in the world. I'm convinced about that. So he'll play. But they're banged up.
Nothing like the Lions, though, when you're talking about season-ending injuries. John, last question for me, man. Is the drama, is the concern, is everything we talk about the passing game, is this enough to put it to bed for you? What say you, Johnny Mac?
We'll see next week. Got to be more consistency. Now they got to get the running game going, like I said at the beginning. No, a tremendous performance. We all knew it was in there. I mean, how many times I got to tell people A.J. Brown's the best player on this football team?
Just get that dude the ball, John. Holy shit, that dude can play.
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. And yeah, when you don't utilize him, that's not a good thing. So for the
John,
people
he's the best receiver in the game.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm not going to go that far, but he's top. He's
well
top.
For a team that runs the ball and he can block down the field. Jamar Chase couldn't block his grandma. This guy gets in the run game, blows people up in the run game, and his after the catch stuff is insane. For that offense, John, man, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have him than Jamar Chase in there because that guy is right when you need him in the run game and when you need him for when you need that slant. That slant, John, is almost undefensible when they throw that thing like that.
Yeah, well, they should. I mean, there's the guy in Minnesota. He's probably the best receiver in football.
Yeah. Jamar's having
AJ's right. AJ's right there. You want to talk about blocking? Watch Puka Nacua, man. That guy.
He blows people up. He surely does.
So there's a lot of good receivers out there, but AJ's.
So John, just to be clear here, like it was a really great performance today, and it shows what they can do. But you would like to see this again heading into the playoffs.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Consistency, right?
You can't just go.
Okay.
You can't just play like this and throw for 118 yards next week. It's got to be more consistent. There's no reason it shouldn't be. There's no reason it shouldn't have been this entire time. We're not talking about throwing it 50 times. They want to keep Jalen Hurts at 25 to 30. He was at 32 today, so it was a little bit higher than they want to go. They want to keep him at 25 to 30, but it'll go 5 each direction depending on how Saquon's performing. They did a good job stopping Saquon. No jersey this week. But this is what you want. When they stop Saquon, they're selling out to stop the run. Take advantage of it the other way.
Yeah, and I think it also proved today, John. This is why you want a good passing game, because you're just a different team. When you can pass the ball like they did today, you're a different football team. And
I mean, the fans out there who said you don't need a passing game or didn't care about the passing game. I mean, come on, that was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And now, as you see it, you see why it was ridiculous. Much different team. This looked like a Super Bowl team today. They didn't look like a Super Bowl team against Carolina.
I agree 100%. Johnny Mac. John, thanks for joining, brother. 10 straight, 12-2. I mean, John, the team just keeps freaking winning with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, man.
Yeah, well, we'll see you in New Orleans. We got some time before that, but right now, everything's coming up Eagles.
I love it. Johnny Mac, good stuff, brother. We'll catch you tomorrow morning on Birds 365, 8 to 10 a.m. Looking forward to doing it with you, brother. Talk to you then.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Good stuff from Johnny Mac joining us live from Lincoln Financial Field. I know Big Sills was eating that answer up.
Well, because it's true. I mean, great game today. A great Sunday. Wonderful. Excellent. Like you said, wait a minute now. Last week you were a dog against the Panthers. Now you're excellent. What are you going to be tomorrow when you have to play the Commanders? And I'm not saying the Commanders are.
All right, but give me this. All right, you're right, but give me this, okay? We've debated this week in and week out on your show, on the National Football Show, 2 to 6 every day, Monday through Friday on JAKIB Sports. The best show on YouTube. I say that and I mean that. The
National Wussy Show, as he called it today. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what your host is, the wussy, but it's
right.
The best show on YouTube. So if you don't watch it, you should be watching it. But give me this. You've seen it now this year. You've seen that they did it and they're capable of it. Now, you're right. Will they continue to do it? Will they be consistent? Those are different questions. But we have seen it now this year.
Wouldn't you agree that we always believed they had the ability to do it, but they hadn't?
Yeah, but you weren't wrong when you said, well, Zander, where is it? I haven't seen it yet this year.
Right. Okay.
Now I've seen
it. But Well, you have to ask yourself this question. Do you believe one game turns the tide for your passing game? If you believe that, again, John and I are not in that room, because in a game today, you've got to be able to do that and by the way, John's right. You don't have to be 400 yards passing or 350 yards.
Congratulations. You found a Grinch friend. You got a replacement for the Grinch.
Why? Because he speaks the truth that you want to see consistency. Oh, no, here's what Zander wants. Holy shit. Today, guess what? It answered everything we've ever thought about this team. And then guess what he'll be doing? He'll be next week after he throws for 104 again. What happened? I mean, there we go. And let me tell you, I want to see it again. There's no how about this? Did we not agree? This will be a little precursor. There's no reason to lose one more football game. There's no reason not to have any downtime. There's no reason to shit the bed in the passing game or in the run game. Run through the tape. We'll be watching.
Holy shit. Can you imagine if this team, what would that be? They're up to 10 straight wins. There's 3 left. If you'd get the bye week, that would be, what would that be?
You have to win 3.
16 straight wins?
3. You would have to win divisional, the NFC title game, and the Super Bowl. So it would be 3 in the playoffs.
Even with the bye week?
If you get the bye, you have to win 3.
Right.
Divisional, conference title, then the Super Bowl. So they would go, how many would they? Okay, so they got how many more left? 4?
3.
They got 3. Okay, so 13 in a row and then another 3. They'd win 16 consecutive ball games.
Dude, that would be NFL history. That's tough to do, man. That is tough to freaking do. Holy shit.
What a great day, man. Unbelievable.
And Sileo and this dumbass Amber will tell you every day how shitty this team is. 16.
No. What we're unlike you, my friend, we're looking for one thing that matters only. And you know what that is? Hoisting the Vince Lombardi trophy.
I'm with you on that.
That is the only thing here. And by the way, Detroit losing all those players. Whew.
Brother.
Hey, by the way, Zander, how about this one? You better not let Minnesota catch your ass.
Minnesota is actually, if Detroit falters and Minnesota doesn't, Minnesota would actually get the 1 seed.
If Minnesota wins, if Minnesota beats them, they'll have an even record and get the bye and win the North.
Yes. If both teams win out, Minnesota and the Eagles, Minnesota gets the bye. So we need them to lose too. All right, Big Sills, good show, man. Great show. Birds win their 10th straight. Your final thoughts, man, before I let you go, and then you'll have the 2 to 6 show tomorrow.
Fantastic win today. And like John said, they beat a great team up and a well-coached team. How about this? They answered some of the noise today with a great – how about this? There's either 2 things, right, Zander? You're either going to allow side noise to derail you like it did a year ago, or you're going to take it and use it as fuel moving forward. I do think 2023 has an effect on this 2024 team. They're not going to allow that this time. And one thing I'll give your boy Jalen Hurts, your running game was stifled today. Hurts stepped up when he needed to and stepped in. That's what a guy that needs to do and win a Super Bowl. He looked a lot like 22 Jalen Hurts tonight.
Yeah.
Will he be able to do that the rest of the way out for the remaining games to win a Super Bowl? Yet to be determined. Stay tuned. 2 to 6, Monday. Be there.
We'll be looking forward to it. Big Sills. Great show today, brother.
By the way, just one more thing. I'm going to have a mandatory mandate on the Philadelphia Eagles going the rest of the way on Monday. They must accomplish this. They must accomplish that. They must accomplish this. Because right now, you are saying you're the best team in football. Well, guess what we'll be doing? We're going to sign some receipts tomorrow.
Okay, you know what? All right, let me say this. One thing before you go. What's the best take of the year on JAKIB Sports between me, you, and John?
Different opinions.
No. The best. One of us had the best take of the year so far.
What would be that? Oh, the no holes defense. Yes. Yes, I can see.
No holes, baby. No holes.
Yes. Yes. You win. Yes. No holes.
Let's
Yes.
go, baby.
Hey, Zander, both John and I said today, and I couldn't believe it either. It's the best defense in football.
It's incredible what this defense is doing. I told
great
them
prediction.
no holes. I did not expect this. This is insane what this defense is doing.
Yeah, but you identified it kind of early. I think it was New Orleans.
All right,
I'll see you tomorrow, man. Sissy out. Or wussy out. I'll see you tomorrow.
Gone. Go rewatch the start of the show.
I'm not watching shit. I got Corona time now.
All right, goodbye. See you, brother. Good stuff from Big Sills National Football Show. Host 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. Best in the business. Best show on YouTube. In the morning, I'll be with John McMullen live, 8 to 10 a.m. on Birds 365. Looking forward to that. I'm going to read some super chats here. And then here's going to be the difference tonight, everybody. I'm moving the post-game show to another link, okay? We are not going to do it on here anymore because it's, there's some data coming from YouTube. I want to make it its own show. It's getting a lot of hits. A lot of people like it. I want to make it its own show. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to read all the super chats here before we do that. But be on the lookout. That'll be a new show coming up right after the post-game show here. So we'll have the post-game show on its own link, and that's coming up next on the show here. Appreciate all you guys, man, for being in here right now. Bob Brown, Pat Ryan, Marquise Dunn. What's up, brother? I appreciate all of you guys, man. What a great win. What a great win this was for the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a win that really gives you confidence in terms of being a real Super Bowl contender. It's one thing to win 9 straight and squeak by the Panthers, and you're like, well, I think we can win the Super Bowl. I hope we can win the Super Bowl. You lay a beat down today like you did on a Mike Tomlin-led Steeler team, a 10-3 football team in the AFC. It's a really good freaking win, and that's the best way I know how to describe it. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, by the way. Great game today. Really, really impressed with what he was able to do for this football team. Big Sills is right in the sense that you have to keep going. You have to be consistent with it. But what he did today was very impressive. And like I said to Sills, it shows me that it's there. It can be done. It's right there. And that's exciting to see. Amber, yes, I did call you a dumbass. I appreciate you being here, brother. Sean Mims says, Q had Slay back on that BS by number 80. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, you're talking about when he pushed him out of the end zone. Yeah, that was dumb. Why the hell did he block him out of the end zone? That was dope of Quinion, though, to run up and, get in there. That was cool to see from Quinion Mitchell. Anthony Wilson checks in. What you smiling for, Sills? What consistent is this team win? Stop trying to find little victories to hold on to your bad takes and admit you're wrong. Well, Anthony, you do have to see the finish line. Like, I feel great as an Eagle fan, but if this team loses in the first round of the playoffs, how are you going to feel? You're going to be sending a super chat telling Sills he's right. So you do have to balance both, but I'm with you in that there's a lot of optimism in this win. They showed me a lot. Increase your margin of error. Yep, passing game does that for you. Rick, what's up, Rick? Appreciate it, man. He says Hurts must build off this and not regress. Move forward with a sense of urgency. Stay aggressive to A.J. Devontae. Elite rushing attack is a luxury. Good point there, Rick. Appreciate that, brother. Deep Fried checks in. Mailata said in an interview they didn't know the passing plays. Not sure what you're referring to. I'll check that out, though, Deep Fried. Brian Fleming says, Fangio and the D put Russ in the cuck chair worse than Future does when he SV. All right, come on, Brian. That's tough to read, man. Sierra in front of him. Come on, Fleming. I love you, though, brother. Rodney says, yeah. Good stuff, Rodney. Crow Server says, serving sushi crow with a side of feathers. That's all Big Sills is eating this week. I'm sending him a big care package of crow. DRC, 65 rushing yards, not bad when you think about it. Yeah, we just got DRC. You're kind of right. We just gotten really used to Saquon Barkley being on a historic pace. But you're not wrong about that. West Philly says, F that Jalen, DJ Khaled. All I do is win. I like it. All I do is win. And Sean says, seeing Hurts humble Sills, best birthday gift ever. Happy birthday to you. And Sean, appreciate that, man. Deep Fried, what negative thing bald-faced Sills have for us? You don't like this Sills no beard. I like it. I think Sills looks pretty good with it, man. Here we go. I've got a couple more super chats, and then we're going to move over to the post-game show coming up. Sills, could we get a Howie fist pump for Jalen? I'll give you one, brother. Appreciate it, Abe. Good to have you back in here, man. I already read that one. That was funny. Big C says, I can't wait for Big Sills to say, congratulations, you won the Super Bowl with the world's greatest roster in NFL history. Big C, that is exactly what Sileo is going to say. That is exactly that. Frame that. That is exactly what Big Sills will say. I'm good with it, though. He wants to keep pushing. Listen, he's great at what he does. J Legend says, Dan, I thought Hurts couldn't throw. Not today, Jay. BCS Philly. I'm seeing a consistent trend of Sills being wrong. Zander Krause of Palooza. Oh, wait till you guys see. Zander Krause is going to be epic. Zander Krause will not disappoint. I'm telling you. At least I hope not. I'm excited for it, though. I got 4 bags of Eagles shit I'm looking at right now behind my computer screen. 4 bags. Jerseys, hats, sweatshirts, jackets. Only thing I'm still working on is the Princess Diana jackets. Those things are hard to come by. TH from the 203, whatever it is. He says, I'm a Big Sills. Wake me up when it's February. Checking in from SoFlo and Go Canes. Love it, brother. Appreciate you checking in from South Florida. That's really cool of you. Rodney Burton says, at B Pumper, you're a clown. Big Sills, can I get a dual threat? Love that shit. 12-13 Big Sills. Zander, my guy, let's build on that passing game. Dual threat. I love it, Rodney. Appreciate that, man. Prince, Eagles are 4-0 versus the AFC North. Good stuff. Carson, TJ Watt injury did not look good. Yeah, that was – hopefully he's good because you never like to see injuries in the game. That dude deserves respect of any football fan. That dude is a freaking beast, man. Paul says, Sills just F with us for fun. He's a good entertainer. You're catching on to him, aren't you? Brian Pumper says, best game of Hurts' football career. Did the Steelers even have the ball in the second half? Offense gets a lot of credit in those BS late quarterback slides. Well, listen, they only had 2 drives, 2 possessions in the second half, Pumper. It's pretty insane, man. Zander 1, Sills 0. Hold that L, Sills. Anthony, maybe one day I'll get him to hold an L. He doesn't like doing it, though, man. You guys saw the stink face at the start of the show today. Sometimes you got to pop out and show Sills. I love it. The Lombardi over your fat head. Man, these super chats are great. I'm JJ Ruiz says, hey, Sills, I love you. No Diddy, but I can't wait to see your face after we're holding the Lombardi over your fat head. Appreciate that, JJ. Good stuff, brother. Josh B says, to be fair, Tomlin made some interesting decisions too. Punt on that 4th down. Yeah, we talked about that in the show. That was a dumb decision by Tomlin. Really dumb. Really freaking dumb. Sorry I didn't ask Sills this. Sills, what do you think the main reason why the defense is playing so well? The line, the secondary? To me, it's the line, but, the linebackers are also a big part in that. And it just seems like, Lubo, it seems like everybody at every level is playing their position at a high level. Like even C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who I was kind of hard on earlier in the year, he's now really playing good football. Reed Blankenship continues to make good plays. At the corners in the secondary, you also have Quignon's playing great. Slay's having a good year in coverage. Linebackers playing great. Lines playing great. Like everybody, it's a cohesive unit right now. Everybody's stepping up. D. Hughes, what's up, bro? How about Jalen Hurts? Everything asked of him, he did. Correct. Great stuff there, my man. Man in Black, good to see you in here, brother. Hope you're doing well. Hurts can never throw in the pocket. Still's a clown. I love it. LMAO, Spinneroonie Sills. Dan Sileo, fat boy, eat crow. We winning. Man, you guys are more pissed at Sills than you are excited about the win. Harv says, for the last drive to the final 10:30 of the game is huge. Just shut down the game and ended it. Amazing, Harv. It really was impressive, dude. It really was. Eddie says, typical Dan Sileo. Prove him wrong once again, and the dude moves the goalpost. Say it, Dan. I was wrong. Takes a lot to get that out of him, brother. All right, that's all the super chats, I think, unless I got a couple more. I did get a few more here. Xander, bald faces ain't right. I got a bald face too, dude. Sean Mims. All right, that's it. All the super chats. Appreciate everybody checking in on the post-game show. This is what we're going to do. We're going to move over to the post-game show. The link is live on YouTube. It's set for 45. I will be earlier than 45. I'm not waiting 15 minutes. I'm going to be up there ASAP once I finish up on this. I'm going to pull the clip from Johnny Mack. I got one thing to do on production, and then I'll be up on the post-game show. I'll send the link out. We'll talk to the great people of JAKIB, so definitely check out that show. Coming up next on the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate you all watching today. please hit that like button, as it's one of the best things you can do to help us grow. So if you enjoy JAKIB, if you enjoy the fact that we're not an echo chamber, we're never trying to be. We want different opinions from different people to create sports talk, good sports talk, where somebody has a different opinion, somebody else has a different opinion. You can hash it out. You can talk, you can debate, you can discuss. And we bring you guys in as well. We always bring all of our viewer comments in to the fold as well. So trying to do it a little bit differently, and we appreciate all of you guys who support this channel. It means the world to me. I appreciate it. So hit that like button, and we'll be coming up soon on the JAKIB Postgame Show. Check it out after this.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The following is a real testimonial from the father of a young injured victim.
I didn't think she was going to make it.
Major Perry's daughter was the victim of a horrific accident caused by someone else's negligence.
If you don't find the right counselor, law firm that you're looking for, you will get lost in the wilderness.
Badly injured? Call the Fritz and Bianculli Law Firm at 215-458-2222 and find out why they say, "We got this."
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
We noticed that there was mold creeping into our basement about a year and a half ago, and wanted to make sure that we were getting rid of the problem permanently. We actually reached out to several different contractors to get it resolved, and actually 2 of them recommended DryTech to us as a long-term solution. Other than the noise factor, we wouldn't even know that there was work being done on the basement level. It's really been a clean process for us.
Score and save this football season on your car insurance. Before the next game, save up to 40% on your auto insurance policy. That's right, 40% savings. Call an audible this season and contact the Del Val Insurance Group. They're an advocate for you, not an insurance company. That means they'll get you the right coverage and save you up to 40%. Call managing partners Fran or Jim of Del Val Insurance, 215-354-0122, or score and save at dvigi.com. dvigi.com.
EAGLES, Eagles.